Alright, today's question is, why is drawing so much harder than it looks? So say you go watch a video on YouTube and someone's drawing and you're looking at it and it looks pretty easy and you're like, I can do that. Because they're drawing from a photo and the lines that they're making are very simple and they just very smoothly go through the process. And, if you're watching a painting, then, they go through and do the colors and all the stuff looks pretty easy. They're mixing the right colors, they're just putting down very simple lines, and it's like, well, I can draw simple lines, I can draw simple shapes, I can draw boxes, I can definitely do what they're doing. And then you go and try it on your own, and then it's a disaster. Well, why does that happen? Because you're looking at it and it looks easy, right? Well, compare it to something like chess. If you're looking at a chess game between two masters and they're just picking up the pieces and moving them this way, and well, you know how to move the pieces because you know that a knight can move 3 up and 1 over, and you know that a queen can move in any direction for any number. So you know how each of the pieces can move. But how's it going to go if you play against a chess master? Well, not very well. And why is that? Because it's not just knowing the rules of the game and how the pieces move. It's also knowing the strategies and making decisions. It's all about making decisions. So when somebody who's a seasoned artist looks at say they're using, well, we'll use an example of a photograph. So they're looking at a photograph of the human figure, right? They're looking at a picture of a person. And say this person's got on some complex drapery. They've got on a lot of jewelry and a headdress, and there's just a whole lot of complexity going on. So there's the human form, and then there's all the clothing on top of it. And it looks easy when the seasoned artist does it, because all they'll do is they'll do a simple series of lines. They'll do like a circle for the head. They'll do the gesture, and then they'll do all that, and they'll do it with very simple marks. And they don't do very many marks, so it doesn't look that complex. They'll simplify it. And so you look at that and you think it's easy because you don't have to make the decisions. It's that the advanced artist is very good at making decisions. They're good at looking at a photograph and distilling what's essential. So it looks very simple when they do it because they understand it on a simple level. But it takes a long time to figure out how to do that. Simplification is a really difficult thing to do. Now, when you go to simplify, or if you even have the thought to simplify, right? So you go in and you might start with the detail. You look at the headdress this person's wearing, or you start with the details on the eyes, and you don't zoom out and see the entire shape of the head, or you don't zoom out and see the entire block-in of this entire silhouette of the form, right? You see only the complexity and the details, and you don't know how to simplify. So then you go in and do all the little details, and then you spend an hour just doing the headdress, and then you're like, oh, why is this taking so long? Why is this so hard? I'm going to quit art forever, right? Because you don't know how to simplify yet. You're just not making the right decisions. So that's why it's so difficult, is you don't know how to simplify it yet. So that's the frustration that is watching a very good artist do something, and then you say, oh, that looks easy, I could do that. And then why can't I do it? Well, it's because you don't know how to simplify yet. And that just comes from understanding, a deeper understanding of the anatomy. The better you understand something, the simpler you can put it, right? So it's an Einstein quote that the something like, the better you understand something, the simpler you can say it. Or here it is. If you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough. So it's easy, and every beginner wants to go in and do all the details really quickly, but actually the harder thing is knowing what's essential. So what I would say is when you're watching tutorials, don't just look at it, and here's a mistake I made. It was I would look at tutorials and I'd be, I can do that, and I would get really like a confidence boost, right? Because, oh, I could do that, and of course you try to do it and then you can't. But what I find helpful is I try to put myself in the head of the artist, and I don't just passively watch them. I don't just passively watch them draw. I try to think more I look at the reference they're looking at and I say, okay, when they make that mark, they make a straight line. I ask myself, what did they just do there? I stop the video. I'm like, okay, what did they just do there? Why did he draw that circle? Why did he draw that line? Okay, so he draws that line. What is that line? It's the shoulders. Okay, well, what part of the shoulders? Maybe it's the collarbone, or maybe it's from like the end of the collarbone to the end of the collarbone, right? Or they might do a triangle, right, which would symbolize like including the trapezius. Or so when they draw the face, are they using they draw a circle? Is the circle the cranium, or are they drawing an oval for the entire shape of the head? Or are they simplifying the head with a block? So really, as you're watching tutorials, try to really break it down. Try to ask yourself more questions on why did they just make that mark? And really analyze what they're doing rather than just passively watching them draw. Try to think, what decisions are they making? And I think that's where I'm going to wrap it up. So it's not just about watching people draw, and it's not just about the techniques they use. Try to think more about the decisions they're making as they draw, because that's how you start to make those same decisions. Now, when you go look at a model, you'll know to look for the angle of the shoulders or whatever it is. So yeah, that's it. Hope you guys have an awesome week or day or whatever. Just keep getting after it, and love you all, and goodbye.